Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Luc Colemont. I'm living in Antwerp, and I will present you in the next 40 minutes my presentation, Why Campaign Against Colon Cancer. I am the managing director from Foundation Stop Colon Cancer. If you would like to join me on Twitter, you can do this at Luc Colemont, at Stop Darmkanker. I cannot promise you that I will retweet you during my session. I don't think that's not so polite. This is my blue team, some of my colleagues, some of my nurses at our hospital. The group is 5 times bigger, but you have always people who want to be on the picture and other people who want to work. These are the people who want to be absolutely on the picture. This is my problem. I'm seeing too much colon cancer. At least 12 times a month, I have to tell to a patient that he or she has colon cancer. Year in, year out, every month again, 12 new cases of colon cancer, and that's too much. My biggest problem is that in 2016, innocent people are dying because of a lack of information. We're living in an information society, and people are getting and are dying colon cancer because of a lack of information. And that's how it looks like. That's a colon cancer. We call it a silent killer. And if you don't know the enemy, you can't win the war. You have to know what colon cancer does and how we can treat it. And probably this is one of the big problems that we have with colon cancer. It's not the most attractive organ we have, but you can be positive and you present the colon in this way. And then you can say, okay, that's a very nice organ that we have to take care of. And that's a challenge. We have to make from the colon not a sexy organ, but we have to make it a popular organ. It should be normal that people speak about the colon, that people speak about the stool, and that should be normal in every house to speak about it. When we look to the 4 most common cancers, then we have colon, lung, breast, and prostate, and you see that any year there are more than 1 million new cases in the world. And if you look at mortality, then colon cancer is number 2 after lung cancer. And this is the world ranking of colon cancer. What you see is on the first place is the Republic of Korea. And what do we see on the 5th place? On the 5th place, we have the Netherlands. We have a very well organized system, or the Netherlands is a very well organized system, very good doctors, very good treatments, but the Netherlands are on the 5th place. And on the 11th place, it's Belgium. We are in Belgium. I think it's a shame that these 2 countries are in the top 10 ranking of the world of colon cancer. That really should change. And it's quite simple. There was already a European code in December 2003 which said that men and women from 50 years of age should participate in colorectal cancer screening, and this should be within programs with built-in quality assured procedures. Fecal occult blood testing is actually the only recommended screening strategy. Is this Chinese? Is this Latin? I think this is quite clear. My message when the journalists came to see me in 2004, in the summer, 1 year later, was that every 50 plus people should be screened. Quite a simple message, and it's the same 12 years later. I don't know how many people know that in 2016, only in Flanders, the part where I'm living in Belgium, from the 1st of January until today, how many people died of colon cancer? Well, it's quite clear. We have already 735 deaths, 735 deaths. And it's quite easy to calculate it, since it's 5 every day. We have 5 funerals of colon cancer in Flanders every day. These are the numbers you have to know. In our Flanders, the northern part of Belgium, we have 13 new cases every day, year in, year out. And we have 5 people who die of colon cancer every day. I hope you feel good. I don't want to embarrass you with all these numbers, but this is from a campaign in Germany, a campaign that says, I feel good because I've done the test and I know that the next years I can be free and I don't have to take care too much about colon cancer. I would like to challenge you, and I would like to ask you, what do you know about colon cancer? And I don't know how many people know how long it takes from a little polyp, from normal cells, from a polyp, that it takes to cancer. Well, you can think on this little animal, and that's just to show you that it's a very slow process. It's a slow process. It takes 8 to 10 years before a small polyp turns into cancer. It's not a question of weeks, it's not a question of months. It takes 8 to 10 years before a polyp eventually goes to cancer. And I'll give you some examples. These are some tiny polyps. The upper left, that's 8 millimeters. The lower right part, that's a polyp from, let's say, 3 centimeters. And these are benign polyps. This is not yet cancer. And we can take them away, avoiding that it grows into cancer. I will show you these numbers: 95, 5, 10, 50, and 580. Well, let's start with the good news. I don't know how many people know that colon cancer is 95% curable if early detected. An early detection of colon cancer guarantees you nearly a cure. It's not a deadly cancer, but you have to be early in the detection. I don't know how many people know that the risk for having colon cancer is 5%. That's 1 out of 20. But it also means that you have 19 chances out of 20 not to have colon cancer. Do you know a lottery where you have 90 chances out of 20 to win? I don't know one. Oh yes, I know one. The one of colon cancer. But you have to know what to do to become not the 20th one. People say that colon cancer is 50 plus disease. And okay, that might be right, but I don't know how many people know that 10% of the patients are young people. And new studies even suggest that 1 out of 7 people who are diagnosed with colon cancer are younger than 50 age. So we also have to take care for that. I don't know how many people know that if you take 100 cases of colon cancers, that the minority, 1 out of 5, is hereditary or familial. They have other people in the family with colon cancer. But the majority of the cases, 80%, are sporadic cases. And I don't like this word sporadic, since that's the majority of patients. I think we should say in the future, isolated cases. That means that this person is the only one in the family, and this is the majority of cases with colon cancer. This is my biggest problem. There's a study done by McKinsey in 5 different places in the world, and looking at the stage of the colon cancer at the moment of diagnosis. Now, what you see is that the majority, nearly the majority of people, half of the people, are in stage 3, stage 4, and that are people who need expensive therapy, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and we don't succeed until today to have more people in the earlier stages, the stage 1 and stage 2, where you only have to do an operation. This picture was taken 3 years ago, and these people had all colon cancer. They got chemotherapy in our hospital at the moment that this picture was taken. They're all stage 3, stage 4. I have to tell you, I'm very unhappy about it, that the majority of these patients in the meantime died of colon cancer. And we should avoid this. I think it should be quite clear that from the age of 50, men and women should be screened for colon cancer. I told you about the early detection, the 95% cure rate with good news. The average rates, the young people should be 15%, stage 3, stage 4, and the 580. How many people know that today in Europe, 580 people die of colon cancer? Every day in Europe, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, 580 people die of colon cancer. That's 1 colon cancer death every 3 minutes. There are 2 airplanes that crashes every day with people of colon cancer in Europe. Is this news? No, this is no news. Since news is what happens today, not what happens every day. It's not new that today 580 people die of colon cancer. But when I wrote 3 years ago for his 50th birthday, a letter to Brad Pitt and told him, well, Brad Pitt, congratulations with your 50th birthday. I send you a test your stool. Your wife, Angelina Jolie, did some very nice things for breast cancer with her testimonial about her preventive mastectomy. But test your stool and let us know. Well, this was big news. We were on the same day. We were on all national TV. We were on all newspapers. And our campaign was even picked up in the States, where it went viral. And at a certain moment, we were even front page news in this country. I don't know how many people know where this is, but I can tell you with our campaign, we were front page in Macedonia. By the way, what's the definition of marketing? I don't know how many people are studying marketing or marketeers who are looking to this conference, but I would like to ask you, what's the definition of marketing? Well, I told it already 3 times. It's mark a thing. You should have a good symbol, a good logo, a good name. That's okay, probably a little joke, but I think it's true. I don't know how many people know that before they started to look to this conference, know that the blue ribbon is the symbol for the fight against colon cancer. Everyone knows the pink ribbon for breast cancer, but the blue ribbon is a symbol for the fight against colon cancer. How many people know when the International Colon Cancer Awareness Month is? You have 1 chance out of 12 to know it, but I will tell you, it's March. The month of March is worldwide the International Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And a certain Barack Obama, I'm sure that you know him, the President of the United States, every year, the end of February, he comes with a presidential proclamation that it's National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And he does it every year. Also this year, he announced from the White House that the month of March is the National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. I think this is a great initiative, and I think other political leaders should follow him in this statement. I don't know how many people know what it is. This is something very simple. This is something which can save your life. This is a simple test, the IFOP test or the FIT test. Some people in the Netherlands call this the mascara test. You don't have to go with this test through your eyelashes, but you have to put it in the bathroom, in your stool, and it can check whether there is occult blood that you cannot see with your eyes is present in the stool. Imagine that by telling so much about this, that today in my colon, little polyp starts to grow. Then it will have a long time to grow. I won't feel anything. Probably it will turn into cancer. And if I'm unhappy, then it will metastasis. It will seed out, and probably I will die of it. But then we are in 2031. So we have a long time to remove the polyps and not to give the polyps the chance to develop into cancer, and we will have less colon cancer by the end. And if we pick up the cancer early, then we have an early detection, and we can have in the future less mortality. This is the goal of all these screening programs, to have less colon cancer and less mortality due to this silent killer. In Flanders, we started in October 2013 with a screening program, and the screening program, all people between 56 and 74 are invited to participate. I have a little problem, since what should we tell to elderly people who are not anymore invited, and what should we tell to younger people? The European guidelines are quite clear, and they say you have to start at 50. So what should we say to somebody with 51? Well, I think we should tell him, go to your general physician or go to the pharmacy, buy a self-test and test it yourself. I think this will save a lot of lives. And show you just briefly the results in our country. We had more than 650,000 people invited. We had a participation rate of 50.3%, so half of the people participated. I think this is a quite good result to start with. And we had 7.7 people with abnormal tests who had to underwent a colonoscopy, an examination of the colon. And then you have this geographical distribution. You see that in certain areas of our country, you have already an uptake of more than 50%. These are the dark blue zones. The people with the green, they are not yet at the 50% level. But we have to work so that within a few years, we can have this 60% rate, I hope, in 2020. And if this arrives at home, this envelope with this test in, then I have just one message: just do it. Don't do it only for yourself, do it also for your partner, do it for your children, do it for your grandchildren. This can save your life. It's a very easy test, which doesn't cost too much. In our country, we get it free, and I would say, just do it. And then the colonoscopy. Colonoscopy, people say that it's difficult, it's painful, it's invasive. Well, I can tell you, if people say the jail cells are full, so I'm going to let you offer the colonoscopy, okay, it's not a punishment. And this is a cartoon. I can guarantee you a colonoscopy is not difficult, is not painful, and is not invasive. And I can tell it by my own experience. When I turned 59 years ago, I took a day off, I went to the hospital, they put me asleep, and my colleagues were doing a colonoscopy. I don't know why my colleague, Herbert Fearens, on the lower corner to the right, is laughing when he is looking into my colon, but when he asked me the day after, Luke, how was your colonoscopy? I said, well, in and out. I slept, it didn't hurt me, and they could check if I had polyps, and I was polyp-free. And of course, you have to drink something. You have to prepare your colon, since your colon is normally, it's not clean. You have to drink some of these things which have a little strange taste, but it's worthwhile to do it. You need a clean colon, otherwise we cannot investigate whether there are polyps or not. And that's what can happen. There's a patient who didn't have any symptoms, who participated in the screening program. He had an abnormal test. He came to our hospital. I performed a colonoscopy, and this is what I found: an early colon cancer. He was operated on. He had a stage 2 colon cancer, didn't need any chemotherapy, and we stopped this colon cancer thanks to the screening program. And we have to speak about healthy lifestyle. We know that a healthy lifestyle gives you a 25% reduction for the risk of colon cancer. Avoid overweight, don't smoke, not too much alcohol, regularly and healthy food, and regularly exercise. This will give you a 25% reduction in the risk of colon cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I think we have a problem. There's a lack of knowledge of colon cancer, not only in the general public, but also still by the primary physicians and also by the specialists. And I have to add, also by journalists and by politicians. And we have to change this. Probably I would like to ask you, do you know the numbers of colorectal cancer? And let's give for Belgium, for instance, you have on the left the pink one, the breast cancer. Then you have this small group, the AIDS people, the PIP implants, these people who had protheses in their breasts, and the traffic victims. The traffic victims is too much. My own father died in an air crash in '93 in Kenya. I know what it is to lose a loved one in a traffic accident, but I don't know if you know how much people with colon cancer are. I will show you. This is the number of colon cancer. Imagine that the media would pay the same attention to colon cancer as they do to breast cancer, AIDS, the PIP implants, and the traffic victims. I would say this would really change the world. Probably I would ask you, do you realize the numbers of colon cancer? And we're still waiting for the beginning of the Olympic Games. There in August 5, they will start. It's less than 3 months. But I don't know if you know how many people, how many Europeans won't see the Olympic Games because they will be killed by colon cancer. Probably a strange question, but there's a large amount of people, a large number of Europeans who will die between today and the beginning of the Olympic Games. It's more than 40,000 people who will be killed by colon cancer before the start of the Olympic Games. It's a big number. I told you it's 580 every day. Screening and prevention are important, and diagnosis and treatment are important, but I really believe that information and education are crucial in the fight against colon cancer. And I completely agree with Nelson Mandela, who says that education is the most powerful weapon you can choose to change the world. He is dead, but Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook said, the internet is one of the best ways to teach people. And this is really a great demonstration, this live stream. We can help people throughout the world to spread the message about the fight of colon cancer. I was very happy that nearly 6 years ago, I learned these three guys, these three students, high school students, and we decided to start an own campaign, an own group, an own action group, and we called it Stop Darmkanker, Stop Colon Cancer. There was just one problem. We didn't have any budget, but they were very smart, and they said, okay, we should use social media. And that's what we started to do. We started using social media. You know that social media is changing everything, everyone, everywhere. And some of you probably might remember this in the early 60s or the 70s on a Saturday night with our grandfather, grandmother, or parents listening to the music, listening. There is no TV, as you see. There is no computer. I don't know how many people remember this, but for those who remember this picture, well, I tell you, it's time to screen your colon. And this is the way how it goes this weekend. The father is looking to the soccer results. His brother is looking. The girls are checking on WhatsApp and Instagram what they are wearing, where they go out, and that's the way that we are communicating. It's a normal situation. The situation on communication has completely changed. I won't go into detail too much into the social media, but I can tell you that the social media are not that complicated as many people think. With social media, you can do 4 things. You can share knowledge, you can discuss, you can network, and publish. And the landscape of social media is quite changing very fast. There's a very recent nice picture of the social media landscape of this year. There are many things you can do with social media. What we did with Stop Darmkanker, with our group, we shared knowledge about colon cancer. I went into discussion when people had doubts about the screening programs. We did some networking. There's no problem doing some networking. People can help you. And we did publish a lot of things. We have patients who send their testimonials and we put them on our website. You have to be careful with one thing. Most of you who are listening are hopefully healthy citizens, and it's not my intention to make you anxious patients, but I have to give you the information about colon cancer. You know, the risk is 1 out of 20, so 1 out of 20 listeners, people who are looking to this live stream, will have colon cancer in their life. So I think it's my duty to give you information, not to create panic, but just give you the information you need. And Stop Colon Cancer, from the beginning on, it was clear that we are not a working group, we are an action group. And whether it's chocolates that we have, or famous people who do a selfie campaign, or we have a blue ribbon tour, or we go to with a colon, giant colon, to the railways, or the teaching board, or the letter to Brad Pitt, we are an action group, and we will do action. We have a giant colon and a giant colon which we tour into Belgium. You hear the fire people coming by in the ambulances. Let's hope it's not, they won't stop here, I hope, okay? This is a giant colon. We're touring in Belgium with it, and we went also to the Netherlands. It's a very nice tool to help people and to give them information how the colon really looks like inside. I'm giving quite a lot of presentations. This is my 54th presentation this year, this morning in Belgium, for large people, small people, a live stream also. I think it's important to share knowledge because this can save lives. We had last year a campaign. We created a monster coalition. These are all our political leaders from ultra left to ultra right who came together and who said, we absolutely agree, save yourself and do the test for colon cancer. I think it was a nice campaign, which for an awareness campaign. I like to draw for my patients, and I make always drawings in the hospital. I explain them how polyps are going from small to large polyps. It takes 8 to 10 years. I explain about the fit test, but we made it easier. We have a teach board, a school board, where in 10 lessons, you see 10 lessons where we explain everything which I mentioned in this live stream communication. And I have some good news. It's for the first time that I will show you our next slide. I can't read it. I hope that someone of you can read it. We have since this week also a Chinese version of our school board about colon cancer. And probably you want to share this and you can spread it to the Chinese people. This would be very nice due to this live stream event. And then these things happen. I won't go into detail, but people who follow our website wrote or phoned us. They said, well, doctor, I have to tell you, I'm still alive thanks to your website. Since this guy got the information from the colon cancer on our website when he had some complaints, he went to his general physician. His general physician won't believe him that he could have colon cancer since he was too young. He went to his specialist. He asked for colonoscopy. The specialist said, you are too young, you have a burnout, and you have to wait. He went to another specialist. He performed a colonoscopy, and this guy, they found colon cancer. And he went to a mountain bike race in South Africa with our shirts. And that's another story that I won't go into detail because of a lack of time. This is our website. It's in Flemish. There's a very small French part. It's very simple. It's www.stopdarmkanker.be, where you can all find the information. Also, all the things we're doing on Facebook and Twitter. We're quite using the social media, since I think it's a very effective way to spread our message. And this is quite interesting. Patients that can find on our website a forum where they can come in contact with other patients. The interesting thing is that we have a joint agreement with Asperity, and they have a very strong translation system behind this platform. It's not only in Dutch, in French, in English, and German, but it's also in Spanish and Portuguese, in Polish, and even in Arabic, so that people from other countries can come in contact through this system. This is also a very nice application of modern technology for improving health in many countries. And we're also on Facebook. I'm sure that many of you are on Facebook. And today, I checked this morning, we have more than 55,000 people who follow us on Facebook. For a small organization like ours, it's not bad. In Belgium, we are on the 8th place for the non-profit organizations. I'm very happy with it. We give information about colon cancer through our Facebook page. And this is what can happen. On March 1st, I posted this one. I thought it was important to let the people know that the blue ribbon is the symbol for the fight against colon cancer, and that March is the International Colon Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know how many people know how often this was shared. Well, I will show you. It was nearly 16,000 times shared. And with this one simple message, we could reach. We calculated, we saw it, we have the information from Facebook on the backside. We know that we reached more than 1 million people. 1 million people in our country saw this message. I think this is once again a very nice example of the strong power of social media. And let's say that I would stop now 60 seconds speaking to you. What would happen on the internet in 1 minute? Well, in 1 minute, there will be sent 150 million emails. That's incredible, 150 million emails. In the same minute, there will be nearly 350,000 tweets, just in 1 minute. In 1 minute, 2.4 million Google searches. That's incredible. And in this 1 minute, they will only send more than 20 million WhatsApp messages. This is just amazing, and these numbers will increase, and the power of social media will be even more clear during the next years and the next future. We have also some nice things. We have some gifts for fundraising. These bracelets, Italian bracelets, you can find on our website, on our Cruciani website. €2 goes to our organization. I think it's a very nice thing for the summer. We have also chocolates. We are from Belgium, and we have these nice chocolates. I don't know if you see something in it. We're still looking for a name, but I can tell you these chocolates are very kind, and they're also in support of our Stop Darmkanker campaign. Something what Erik de Verre, the guy with the colon cancer, said to me is also something which I always will remember. He said to me, well, look, do you know that if someone in the family has colon cancer, the whole family has colon cancer? And that's something we may not forget. It's not only the patient who has the colon cancer, it's also his partner, the children, the grandchildren, the parents. That's incredible. The problems that this creates into the family is enormous, and we should not neglect it. I wrote a book, Stop Darmkanker, by sharing knowledge you can save lives. I was very happy that our Minister of Health and our Vice President of Belgium were present on my book presentation. You can find it on our website. I was very happy that the Minister of Health wrote the exit word, and the foreword was written by Marie Koeke, a very famous entrepreneur in Belgium. I was very happy that I can work with him now. Why should we detect colon cancer in an early stage? I will finish my presentation. I think it's proven, it's quite clear that there will be less mortality due to colon cancer. There's missing an R, but it's no problem. There is much less suffering due to colon cancer, that's clear. There will be less cost. We will save a lot of money since we can save expensive chemotherapies. And that's what I call a win-win-win situation. If you would think, after this presentation, I will check myself and I will do a self-examination, I would recommend you not to do it. It's not possible. Just go to your physician, let your colon check. If you're over 50, it can save your life. Don't die of embarrassment. I think it's a quite clear message. Don't die of embarrassment. Speak about your colon, speak about your stool, speak about this test, and many people will be very happy when they do it. I have a dream. I have a dream that one time I will wake up in a world without colon cancer. But when I wake up, I see the reality. And the reality is that it's still a long way, and a long way, very obstacles that we have to counterpart to finish once in a life without colon cancer. I hope that I can make this within 5, 10, 20 years, but I think nothing is impossible. You should go for it. I really believe that by sharing knowledge, we can save lives. I thank you for your attention. I wish you a very nice evening or a very nice day, and I wish you a lot of pleasure into your colon. I thank you for your attention. Ciao from Belgium.